call it a rug. Rhymes with grug. I call this one a ride. Rhymes with grug. That doesn't really... I call it a rug. Rhymes with grug. I call this one a ride. Rhymes with grug. That doesn't really rhyme. Call this air fryer. Rhymes with grug.
Oh, I like that one.
I call this short cow.
What?
Rhymes with grug.
Where are you getting this face?
I call this one the Southern Border Crisis. Rhymes with grug.
Why are you doing this to me?
I call it cyanide. Rhymes with grug.
Please show.
I call this a bug's life. A grug's life.
All right, you know what? That's
And I
enough.
call this
No, seriously.
I call it curb stomping.
No.
Rhymes with grug. I call this getting mugged. Rhymes with grug.
I can't feel my anything.
And I call this an HN warthog. Rhymes with grug. I call this one a slip and slide. Grug.
There's only pain.
I call it a good dad. Rhymes.
Are you sure? I don't understand any of this.
I call it peak. Rhymes with grug.
Somebody please kill me.
And I call this one rhymes with grug. Rhymes with grug.
The sweet release of death.
I call it style. Rhymes with grug.
My bones.
I call it
April 12, 2036.
rhymes with grug. I call this pixie stick. Rhymes with grug. And I call this one Croots too.
Does that rhyme with grug?
I call this Battlefront 3. I want it now. And I call this a thug. Rhymes with grug.
On gang.
I call this one crippling depression.
Seriously, I beg of you. Please put an end to this nightmare.
I call this hospital visit.
Stay away from me.
We're going on an adventure.
No.
I call it a pug. Rhymes with grug. I call it a switch too. Rhymes with grug.
Christ games.
And I call this one rhymes with grug too. Rhymes with grug. Two. The endless cycle continues. I call these younglings. Rhymes with grug.
Just pull the plug.
I call it dementia. Rhymes with grug. And I call this a job application.
Maybe it was both.
Does not rhyme with grug. I call it dementia. Rhymes with grug. And I call this an ender pearl. Rhymes with grug.
What did I do to deserve this torment?
I call this Afghanistan.